everyone, I'm Trisha Morris at Club Scrap. Do you ever find yourself spending a lot of time thinking about the layout you're going to make rather than making it? Well, I have a wonderful solution for you by way of my unique page formulas. They're like recipes for scrapbook pages. So today's project is going to be a double page spread that's two 12 by 12 layouts, uses 5 sheets of paper. You can use beautiful Club Scrap papers, or you can use papers from your stash. I'm guessing you have one, but I'm here to help you use what you have to make beautiful layouts as efficiently as possible. In fact, after this workshop and your double page spread is made, you will have 2 tiny little scraps. Let's get started. Okay, this is the page formula that I'm going to use. And at Club Scrap, I create a new formula for our members every single month. And this one was actually from last summer. I thought it was a great, fun formula. And I'm combining it with our newest release from Club Scrap called Farmstand. So I've chosen some papers from the collection, trim them according to my formula, and this is the completed layout. So you can make this right along with me and substitute what you have on hand, or you can pick up the Club Scrap Farmstand kits. You have the papers you need to make this layout, or at Club Scrap you can just buy the papers individually as well. So the papers don't matter so much. What's cool is that we have this formula. It's a recipe. I'm in my kitchen, you're in your kitchen. Let's make these pages together. So on the gather list for my formulas, I always tell you what you need, and in this case 12 by 12 paper A, B, C, and D. For that, I've chosen for paper A this beautiful frame print from the Farmstand collection. For paper B, we'll use this luscious textured forest green or dark green paper. Then I'm going to use this really pretty orange. And then for the base of my pages, I'll use this gorgeous red. So that's paper A, B, C, and then 2 paper D. 5 sheets to make this gorgeous double page spread. Now to trim my papers, I'm using my favorite trimmer. I do carry these. I love it. I've been using this exact unit for several years now. You can see how the screen printing is starting to wear away. It's a self-sharpening blade, works like a charm. And then I'm also using this unique accordion pocket file. The reason I'm using it today is just we're making quite a few pieces, and I'll help you distribute everything for the left side of the layout into the first pocket, everything for the right side of the layout in the second. So if you don't have an accordion pocket file, no worries. Just distribute between one of 2 piles. Okay, pile A, B, pocket 1 and 2, however you want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to take this really cool print here, and I'll place it in the trimmer, I think with the avocado in the lower right corner. So what you do is slide it under, and I know a lot of you are going to feel uncomfortable trimming this beautiful print. It's okay. We'll find the hole number 8 and make sure the paper is right along that vertical line, marking 8 inches, and then level at the top. Always stabilize your paper in this clear bar so that it doesn't move when the blade comes down. That's all there is to it. Now just rotate the paper so it's now horizontal, and we'll trim at 10. So again, if you're using paper from home, maybe this would be a good time to choose a print. All right, so this is going to be used on the left side of the layout. So I'll put that in pocket 1. This piece is used on the right side. I'll put that in pocket 2. And then this remaining piece, I'm simply going to cut it in half. So that's going to be at 6 inches. Both of these pieces are used on the right side of my page, so pocket 2. That's our first sheet. Okay, now we're going to start having some fun. Now, if you normally don't find that you measure much, if you join Club Scrap family, you are going to be doing a little bit of measuring, but believe it or not, you'll catch on quickly the more practice you get. Our first cut here is at 11 3/4, then 11 1/2, and 11, so we're making some really tiny strips, and then we'll slide down to 8 1/4. So again, to find your quarters, I always go to the left. So 8 plus 1 column to the left is 8 1/4. Now I rotate this larger piece, and we'll cut at 10 1/4. And this piece is going to actually end up nesting perfectly onto this other one that we did earlier. So that goes in the first pocket. Okay, then you have this narrow strip. It's currently 8 1/4. We're going to trim that horizontally at 7 3/4. And this is going to go in the second pile or pocket. And this is the first of the 2 scraps you'll end up with. My apologies. Just didn't find a home for it. I'm sure I could if I tried. Okay, now this next one. This is, let's see, 2 3/4 by 12 right now. Let's trim at 11 1/4, 7 1/2, and 3 3/4. Now, if I'm going too fast, remember, you can watch this again at your own pace. All three of these pieces are going to be used in the first pocket, and then this little piece we're using on the second page. So let me put that in my second pocket. Now you've got some narrow strips. You have one wider one, that's pocket 2, and then 2 skinny ones, pocket 1. Moving right along, this is the last piece we have to trim. We have a lot of cuts to make. 11.5, 11, 10.25, 9.25, and 6.25. Lots of quarters there. And then let's rotate, and we'll trim horizontally at 8.5 and 4.25. So these two pieces that we just made that are the same, those go in pocket 2, or the second, for the second layout. And then we have this rectangular piece. Let's trim this horizontally at 6 and 3. These two pieces are also used on the second layout. I just love these practical things that you can do this with any paper you have. This is a scrap. The next widest strip that we have available to us, we're going to trim horizontally at 8 and 4. It makes 3 pieces the same size going into the first pocket. And now we have this strip. It's pretty little. It's only 1 inch wide. I'm going to cut this horizontally on all the even numbers. So that's 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Okay. Here we go. Let's take one of these and put it in pocket 2, and the rest are going to be used on the left side, so pocket 1. And now we have some strips. We have 2 skinny strips, pocket 1, a wide strip, second pocket. That is all the trimming. Now, if you are at a crop with all your friends, you're ready to put your page together, and they're still trying to figure out what paper they're going to use. So you're going to really fly on by. I'm going to get rid of my trimmer. Next, you'll slide those papers in front of you so they're side by side, and I'm going to keep my picture handy. Now, notice in the formulas, the pictures are black and white. That way, you can envision what goes where and decide what paper A, B, C, D is going to be. So now, technically, everything in this first pocket is going on the left page. So you can kind of see how this works. And this is how we handle our monthly collections as well. Everything is trimmed for 8 layouts at a time and put into all 4 of our pockets. Okay, so this first piece nests beautifully, right? And then I've got these nestable strips. These are kind of like little anchors or little dividers for the space that we have. So I'm going to place that above and below this center area of the layout. And again, you can see this in the sketch as well. And each one of these strips has a tiny little nest to go on top. Now we've got a series of 3 orange mats. I'm going to place those kind of along this left edge here. And if you've been gardening this year, you've got a wonderful theme to work with. And I'm going to add 3 dark green on top of these. Now, what about all these little pieces? I can take scissors and just cut a V into each one. And then that's what makes the little banners for our layout. And on mine, the picture has me adding all of these little flags to the right side. But because I have some pretty artwork here, I'm going to go and add my cute little flags on the left. I'll just place these here for now. All right, those are all the pieces we trimmed for the first page. Now, all I simply need to do is take everything out of, this is like magic, take everything out of this pocket. And once again, we have a nested strip. This one can go kind of more toward the center. Now, if you've got the 2 large orange mats, I'm going to place those near the top of this layout, more at the inside edge. And following these diagrams gives you a real test of your spatial reasoning skills. So even if you've got little ones at home, they can help you with this. This is really good mental exercise. 2 little nesting mats here. Then I nest this on top of this little guy. I've got a really cool anchoring spot. You could add some ribbon there, some journaling, and then we have 2 little accent photo mats for the corner. Now another orange piece, if I just cut a little V into the end. And that way I can carry through what's happening on the left side of the page. I'm going to do the same for this little green piece that we salvaged. This would have been a scrap, but it didn't need to be, right? What if we nested these And then we'll tuck that right into right there. So that and that kind of complements each other. Now I've got room here for another photo if I wanted to, and I've got all kinds of cool potential. A couple of assembly tips, basically for these really skinny pieces. Sometimes it's hard to figure out how to adhere them to a page. So a little tip would be to use our bookbinding glue. Just add it to one of our needle tip applicators and then just run the glue along the skinny strip and then flip it over and nest it onto the larger strip. You don't have to worry about how small it is. The adhesive will just hold just fine. Another tip here is, I'm just going to set some of this stuff aside now that I had it place marked. I'm going to go ahead and nest these two really big layers. And you can see the advantage of having your layout planned out before you even add your pictures. It's really cool how this happens. Now to add this to the base paper, my tendency would sometimes be to adhere it in a crooked fashion. So I'm going to use the 0 center of my grid ruler. This is a ruler by Club Scrap. I love it. It's a 3x14 grid ruler. Center it onto the layout so that I'm 1 inch from the edge of the red paper. Then all I need to do is add adhesive to the larger piece here. Make sure I'm centered again. And now I'm going to center this along the edge of the ruler from top to bottom. My reading should be the same. So it's 5 1/8 on each side, if that matters to you. And then place that. Now I know for sure this is level. And I can do the same type of thing along the top edge before I add this border strip. Just use the ruler grid to help me be nice and straight before I add my border strip to make sure it's not up or downhill. And I can always make sure it's visibly level. And I would do the same even for adding the bottom strip, all these other pieces. That ruler is something that I use for every scrapbook page as I'm in the finishing process. So after I had my layout completed, I went to my stack of photos, and believe it or not, right at the top, the photos ready to be scrapbooked were pictures that I took at a winery. So I chose the pictures kind of in advance of my session with you just to save a little bit of time. For the left side of this layout, I'm going to crop these 3 pictures to fit into those spots. Then for the larger pictures, I'm going to add these 2 really beauty shots. Then my own picture with my girlfriend is going to go here. It doesn't have a map, but it's going to rest on that anchoring strip. And then 2 more smaller pieces for the right side of this layout. In fact, maybe I'll just swap these out. I like this too. Okay, so this is my plan for the pictures. Now, how do I decide what size the picture needs to be? I love my square ruler for this. So all I have to do here is hover over the size of this mat, which right now is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and I subtract 1/4 inch from each of these. So I hope you're following with me here. That's going to make this picture 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. So, and I can also sort of plan, like here's my 2 1/2. So if I can figure out where I want to crop my photo by 3 1/2, I know that this portion of what I really want to see is going to be just fine. I'm going to do about here to here. I'll go trim this. And there's my picture ready for its spot. These other 2 photos need to be trimmed to the same size, 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. And there we go. We've got the logo for the winery that we visited and some nice pictures to put on either side. Now for these next 2 pictures, I already know this mat is 4 by 6. I don't even need to measure. All I'm going to do is remove 1/4 inch from the top and 1/4 inch from the side of each of these pictures. And then I'll glue them in place. Now for the last 2 pictures in this spot right here, I'm going to hover. My measurement is 3 by 3 1/2. So my photo should be 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. I'll go trim those. And check it out. Those are going to fit perfectly. So I'll go ahead and add them with my favorite adhesive. And last but not least, maybe I'll just trim a little off the edge of this picture. Once I add this, all I have left to do is a little embellishing, some journaling. I can complete the title. I can do this however I wish, but what I wanted to demonstrate to you is how quickly and easily these layouts can come together when you have an open mind to your theme versus your photos. So for example, there's nothing about these base papers or this artwork that says wine, but the color is what really works and makes this all come together. I love how beautiful this turned out. I'm so pleased with it. Now let me show you what's coming on the horizon during the month of September. We have another page formula which I've designed specifically for this month's members. So if you join Club Scrap, you do get a formula every single month to help you use the papers you happen to have in your stash. And most people do have a stash that they need to deal with. So this is a pictureless recipe of the September 2021 formula. So you can see the image of it right here and how it came to life with these particular papers. Again, the joy is that you can reuse and recycle these page formulas over and over again, just like you do with your favorite recipes in the kitchen. Now, if you like the idea of having access to formulas from the past, you can actually purchase a hard binder. We have printable inserts as well as formulas from past months. Even though they're dated, they really have an unlimited shelf life, and you can use them again and again to help you use the papers you have. Now, as you can probably tell, I'm passionate about helping you use the paper that you have. I'm also passionate about helping members use the kits that we send, again, with comparable efficiency and very little waste. So our monthly kit collections come with a printable copy of instructions that guide you through the trimming process of every paper we send and the assembly of every layout that you can make. So our kits typically make 8 layouts, and with very, very little waste. In fact, I think that the only waste from the September collection is just this tiny little piece right there. Yep, or there's one other little, so 2 small scraps again, but this time, instead of just making 2 pages, you end up making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages. Now, everything you saw on all these pages is included in your kit, along with a video tutorial where I will personally guide you through the assembly process. So during our time together, I hope you came to a better understanding of the potential you have to take my clever page formulas and efficiently turn them into beautiful layouts that are ready for your pictures and your memories. I also hope that you'll consider becoming a member of Club Scrap for just $21.95 a month. I'll send you that box that has everything you need to make all 8 pages. The instructions will be ready to download, and you can watch my workshop video to help you recreate the pages exactly as you see them. Or you can do whatever you want. That's the joy of being a Club Scrap member. And you'll also get that brand new page formula every month, so I can continue to help you use what you already have. I'll see you again next time. Thanks for joining me.